Man,
Hey!
oh man, talk about I had everything all set up, missed one button. Oh my goodness, it's Halloween. It's 2020. Goodness.
Well, now I got to start
Okay.
back over again.
Oh, okay, ready? Everybody act surprised. Do you
Hi
want to do an
there.
intro?
Good to see y'all.
Oh!
Let me mute my one thing. All right. Hey everybody, it's Happy Hotline,
Hey
episode
there. Good to see
39.
everybody.
Happy
Yay.
Halloween. We got Texas car dude Brad, Uncle Rich Klein, and your pal Val. I'm about your pal Val. NASCAR Radio. Happy Halloween.
Hey
We had a really
there.
good conversation before we went live. So
So we'll
again, I
go back to that.
apologize, everybody.
Let's go back to that conversation. It's actually an interesting topic.
Yes, sir.
Um, our sports rhythms are all really off right now. Normally, baseball, we got through the truncated season. We got the end result that we probably should have had projected at the beginning of the year. So somehow it worked out. Basketball and hockey finished the season at a strange time. Normally they'd just be beginning. Actually, hockey would be a month in. Basketball would just about be beginning. We're probably 6 to 8 weeks away from either of those sports beginning. And football is going on, but it's, every week something pops up, whether it's college or pro. Trevor Lawrence got COVID and may not play today. And, with other stuff going on. So we're in an interesting sports rhythm right now. And do y'all think it's affecting card values in any way?
Well, all I have to say is for NASCAR, we got 2 more weeks and then we are done. But with Prism just releasing, we're still doing okay with card. But I definitely see if you're going to buy something in the next few weeks, is the great time to buy it. So
NASCAR has the silly season. Are we going to have a real silly season this year in NASCAR, or is it going to be?
Rich, have you not been? I guess you missed some of the stuff. It's been crazy.
Well, I'm talking about the silly season. I'm talking about not the playoffs. The playoffs.
No. I'm talking about silly season.
Okay.
So the biggest one was Kyle Larson got signed by Hendrick.
Okay.
So that was big, and then we had everybody moving around. Eric Jones got kind of kicked out of Joe Gibbs and getting filled by Christopher Bell, and Eric Jones is going to Richard Petty, which is vacant because Bubba Wallace is going to the new 2311 Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin team. It's been.
So you've had your silly season before silly season ever began.
Yeah, I think everybody wanted to make sure all the seats are filled. I think we had something was supposed to happen with Wood Brothers, but Matt DiBenedetto, they told him they would let him know end of September, and that came and went. And I think the outcry and him finishing, I think, second at one race. It was a couple of days into October, but they re-signed him. So, everything is all booked up, I think, for next year.
And you had a couple retirements this year too, if I remember correctly.
Jimmy Johnson is still, 2 more races and he's done, and he's going over to Indy actually.
And he won how many titles? Like 7, 8, 9.
He tied Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt Sr. at 7 championships. And what actually makes that amazing is that they have changed the playoff format a few times.
And he kept winning.
Yeah, I think he got 5 in a row, which is crazy. I think Cale Yarborough had 3 in a row. Yeah. So, the GOAT. He's retiring. So,
well, it's interesting. We talk about Jimmy Johnson winning all those titles. I'm a tennis guy in the 70s. Jimmy Connors won the U.S. Tennis Open on 3 different, surfaces. He won it on clay, he won it on grass, and he won it on what they call now hard court. Nobody will ever do that again unless they start changing the surfaces at the U.S. Tennis Open, which tells you, when people do it that way, that tells you just how good they really are. Has this retirement boosted Jimmy Johnson's values any?
Somewhat. Not. They're still, I think, way underpriced compared to the other sports. His rookies are in 2000 SP Authentic and Maximum, and Max, I think it is. So he's got a few autographs and a few cards, but they're kind of low. And PSA 10s, I think last time I checked, were about 100. His PSA 10s regular base and then his autos can vary, but you can get them raw for 100 or 100.5. So
we won't say the greatest of all time because everybody's in a different thing, but for a top 10 all time driver, well, I think we can agree on that. To have a signed rookie card at $100 is really a bargain.
I don't think any of them could beat the Batmobile, though.
Actually, Bill Elliott ran some of that. I think it was back in the late 90s. They had a card.
They did. I think for one of the Batman movies, they had that out.
Yeah, and I think one of them was like glow in the dark, but yeah.
They can't all hold a candle to the Batmobile. No. I'd beat all of them and then smoke bomb them from the rear.
Hey, your friend says Catwoman must have Brad's tongue. Well, I'm sure she has your attention in a couple other places too.
Has anybody seen a clown? I'm looking for a clown.
I have my Ghostbuster shirt on, so
I just have my cowboy shirt on. What can I tell you? And I'm not even
it's Halloween
fan, but it can get chilly in here, and I don't want to.
Oh, just real quick, I don't know if everybody saw what the race in Texas last week. That the race that I guess you guys had a little bit of rain, maybe.
Yeah, we had several days of rain. It was Brad. It was no bueno. It was rain.
Yes, the Batmobile was having a lot of trouble running around.
So the race finally went or finished on Wednesday, and Eddie Gossage of Texas Motor Speedway, everybody who scanned in for the race on Wednesday, they considered diehard fans and are rewarding them with an email for free hot pass to next year's Texas All-Star race.
Yay, that's a great Eddie Gossage. From what I've listened to him, because he's done a lot of interviews that I get to hear since he's in the Dallas area. Eddie, and I'm sure most NASCAR people, he's very fan oriented. He's very good at making sure it's a fan oriented experience at Texas Speedway.
Yeah, I've had the honor of meeting him once or twice. He's a super nice guy when I worked out at the racetrack. And the nice part about those hot passes is you can go pretty much anywhere, including the garage, the pit area, anywhere except for pit row, if I remember right.
You can go up and down pit road.
Oh, you can't. Okay, well then
you just can't go in the pit box because that's pretty much, I think, the teams
the pit box has to be reserved for the drivers in the pit crew, right?
Yeah. But it was
just like when I did stats at the U.S. Tennis Open in the 80s. Because of what we did, I had these passes, these media badges that got me everywhere except one restaurant at the U.S. Tennis Open. It was like the one place I couldn't go in, and it wouldn't be what you think would be the one place you couldn't go in, but I literally could go anywhere I wanted. It sounds like it's very similar for the hot passes. So good for Eddie Gossage to be so nice about that. That he treats his fans right. And that's something else. It makes you wonder because you hear about how much money the owners are losing on sports. I think Rob Manfred said baseball lost $8.1 billion. I think the NBA, I just saw a note saying they're going to lose $1 billion. Yet the Mets just got sold for a record number. So, who really knows? Yes, we're getting rid of the Wilpon, so that's a good thing. But the whole thing is that if when you're losing money like that, whether it's real or tax, to do something to give back is something where it's very impressive.
Yes, and it's
Texas. I guarantee you, Texas Motor Speedway did not make money not having all those fans in the stand.
No. What's up, Brody? Good to see you.
Hey, Brody, you're going to be on John Newman's show, and so let's plug that while we're at it.
Yeah, I hear John's reaching a milestone on his show.
I know, 100 shows.
Yeah, and I think it's a big giveaway too.
It's $900, I heard, of prizes.
Yep. $900 of prizes, and can you think? I mean, I can't even. I'm on episode 14. I can't imagine going to 100. Good grief! Well, yeah, I know. 14. Val's like 14. Man, back in my day, that was like a week.
No, I'm not.
You have to do guests every week. You have to. There's a lot of consistency and a lot of dedication to do 100. Most of us are not networks.
Yeah.
We're the closest thing I think to a network. If somebody can't do something, we can get somebody else to drop in. Where if you're doing it yourself, you have to actually self-dedicate to do it. And doing content every week is difficult.
Hey, Rich, I know John's shows are usually recorded, but today's a live show.
Today's a
Where
live
can I've got a
immediately after
brain.
ours.
Was that
Yeah.
Immediately after ours.
right?
Yeah.
But
It's
where
on
can
Facebook
folks
and
go?
YouTube.
Okay, Facebook and YouTube. All right.
Facebook and YouTube, and
Yeah, everybody make sure you watch. Everybody participate. Everybody show him the love. It's
Yeah,
just
get in for some of that $900.
yeah, and you can. Well, we can't give you $900. We live to hear from you too. Call on in. The
Yeah,
numbers
exactly.
been posted. Come on in.
let's see. So we talked about sports rhythms, how we're all off on sports rhythms.
Did
we
you guys
talked-
see the tops? I'm sorry. I was gonna think of the tops rip that came out this week.
Yeah.
Like, what was it? $100 a box for? It was like one pack. I tweeted tops. I was like, it can't be just one pack.
Yeah. Can you like that goes to like National Treasure type level where it's insane.
National Treasure. Wait a second. National Treasure is like $1,500 a pack. 100 for a pack isn't so bad.
I mean,
I mean, $1,500. You get a whole
for a
box.
pack of cards. I mean,
Look, $100 is a lot of money for me too. But I mean, in terms of that world, $100 is not so much. I mean, when they were doing things like, I don't want to say Topps Tribute, but there were boxes that they would send me for review when I was writing reviews. There would be $300 in 6 packs. They were $50 a packs at the stores, at the cards. So 100 isn't so outrageous compared to 50. I mean, when you do the those Topps buyback autographs, Topps Archives active and retired signatures, those are $50 a pack for one card that's signed.
I saw that it was the autos were one every 2 boxes. So it just was I was expecting a little lower, I guess, maybe $50 a box or something, but
yeah, I think at 50 I might, but 100 I just
in his
that
eyeball size.
level is just not my here's a word, comfortability.
Well, when I look at that,
it's not in your comfort zone.
That's right.
I look as a race car guy. Prism's 120 a box, 4 autos, and was it 12 packs, all the parallels, everything else, make a base set. And then you look at the Rip, it's 100 a box, maybe an auto, or one every 2 boxes. And then I can't remember how many cards were in the pack, but it was nowhere near a set. So
yeah, I'm comfortable at like the 1 to 120 for a hobby box of Top Flagship. Anything other than that,
well, this has been
maybe I'm old and cheap, so
yeah.
But this has been a goofy year. I mean, as far as I know, there might be 1 or 2 other exceptions. Heritage Baseball has been like the most stable product of the year. It hit $90, $95 the day it came out. Has not moved yet. It's not moved. You can, it's exactly where it was. Blasters, yeah, they're selling, but you can't buy a blaster at the, if you see any, it's not like you're going to buy it at Walmart or Target and have the price double just by checking out with it. If you sell it, it's going to be $19.95. So it's been remarkable that's the most stable. After a couple of years ago, I went through this with Heritage because I'm a Heritage guy. In 2017, 2018, the boxes went to 140 within a week.
Yeah.
Never really came down without any real reason. In 2017, 2018, there was an Ohtani special insert put in that they didn't announce. 2017 just was a silly explosion. And
so I got a question for you, Rich, and you, Brad. So I love the Heritage because you got all these old throwback designs. What is your favorite set?
Next year.
I agree with Brad. I agree with Brad. Always the excitement of knowing what's coming up next is always your favorite set. I agree.
Let me clarify that. So next year, the design is going to be after the 1972 set. I was born in 72, so
you're young.
Yeah. So I am that. I cannot wait for this set. I'm like already. I got goosebumps right now just thinking because I love that set. I don't think I will ever be able to complete the if there's a bucket list goals for me in the hobby, it's to complete a full original 1972 top set. But because Heritage now is coming out with a 1972 look, oh, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see that. I mean, yeah, I'm having a hard time talking because I'm so excited about this product coming out. It's just to see all the Pete Alonso and all those guys right there is just awesome. It's just awesome.
Well, yeah. I taped the podcast with Dr. Jim on 72s recently, and it was a fun.
I loved it.
It was a fun topic because A, it's in the wheelhouse of my youth, but B, it really is an interesting set. It was the largest set at the time until 1982. It's the largest set Topps ever made. In the 70s, the high numbers are the last really tough high numbers. It's the first traded set. They have the Boyhood photos. They have the stupid awards cards in it, which that I'm glad they never redid. They did the Boyhood photos. There's an action shots that they then would put in the regular things. There's a lot of things Topps can really do next year. And I'm going to use the term create scarcity. And I'm sure that's a word we don't always like, but you can probably create scarcity by creating pose variations in action, real and action pose variations, Boyhood photo pose variations, traded pose variations. You can probably create a whole bunch of stuff that you weren't really able to do, in the original set that way. So I think that when we see the checklist, it'll be fun, but we won't know. But I think and I know that Clay Laraski of Topps always talks about, he's always been very good about going back and doing things that are in honor of the original set. So
yeah,
I just have
a
Kevin Jones said
about,
something about missing lack of mustaches and sideburns and all that stuff from the 70s.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment that you were young, Rich.
No.
Well, I love that 72 set as well.
I was never young. Okay, remember the first presidential election I voted in, according to some people on Twitter, was 1920.
I thought it was Abe Lincoln. I thought you voted for Lincoln.
That's what I thought too. Hey guys, we got Ziggy No as called in here. Ziggy, I had muted you just because there's some background noise, but if you unmute. How are you, sir?
Yep. Can you guys hear me?
There he is.
Doing well. And I apologize. I'm mobile today.
We hear you.
No problem. Thank you for calling in.
I'm mobile. Happy Halloween, first of all. I wanted to bring up a quick topic. I'm also making a shout out. I'm hoping that Roman from Cards, I'm not watching today. I invited him to join you guys on Hobby Hotline. I met Roman in Discord the other day. Roman was on Bench Clear talking about how he runs a cook group which monitors and bots for buying retail cards. Really, really interesting topic.
Yeah.
You guys heard about cook groups, chefs, and monitors?
I actually saw this back in December, January, when people were going after the Prism basketball, and I started looking into it. Yeah, so there are groups out there, and they're cooks, which is basically you get a script to which helps you buy the product that you're looking for. And then there's, I guess, stuff out in the cloud. There's programs that fire off these scripts to buy that product. So, yeah, I mean, if they want to call in, but yeah, that's an interesting take on it. I know that is kind of a takeover or moving from the folks grabbing the sneakers, coming over to the card market.
Yeah, I mean, let's not get
exactly.
You and I could dig like really deep into this topic really quick, but I'll give you an example of what this does. This is basically like a tick or a pulse that goes out to wherever you want it to go, and it's very similar to a virus or a cyber war. It's not that, but it's designed similar to it, where You go out, you hear it sends a call, and if there's not an answer, it comes back, and then it sends a call, and then it comes back, and it sends a call, and it comes back, and once it finds the hole, you've already given it the information, so it just flows straight through the hole, gives the information, and then comes back. So it's not ethical. It's not ethical. It's not illegal. It's considered by some people not natural, or it's not the old way or anything like that. But honestly, to tell you the truth, it's taking something that was negative out of cyber worms and using that technology for the ability to be able to make money. And if somebody can do that and do it technological, my words are all over the place today. But if somebody can do that, write the script and have it flow.
People have been doing this forever, because I'm thinking of concert tickets back in the day.
Yeah, same way back in the day.
Calling into like a radio show or whatever.
There's actually a law against ticket sales. You are not supposed to use scripting for ticket sales. I believe there is some laws about that. And you're right. It's a script. All it is basically a repetitive thing. Like I sit online, I click refresh all day long. But what's interesting about what I found out from Roman is that Panini has this phenomenal jobs on bot protection. He'll tell you there are no bots that are working on Panini's websites. They use manual scripting on there because Panini's so good. He did mention that Walmart is also very good at updating their botnets, but Target apparently in his comments has kind of given up, and they don't update. It's just great to get his insight, from what these things are doing. And one thing I found valuable are these monitors. And a monitor, it's basically a program that all it's doing is just checking to see if product's available. And if it's available, it sends an alert out, right? So that's a pretty cool technology. But again, real quickly, I'm gonna drop off, guys. I'm hoping Roman will join today. If he does, I talked to him last night in Discord. But if not, check out cardsnipers.com. It's an open site. He's inviting people to come check it out. He's got a Discord channel. He's very friendly. He's willing to answer questions. I found it very interesting. So I'll leave it at that. And again, I hope Roman joins you guys later on.
Yeah, thanks for calling in, Ziggy. What's interesting is whenever this is valid, whenever you go in and try to buy something now, or you try to log into something, and you have to click that little button that says, I'm not a robot, or you have to answer a question, 1 + 1 is 9. That's what that's typically trying to combat, is that call out script. And it works sometimes, it doesn't work sometimes. It's very interesting to hear that Walmart and they're trying to fix that, but Target isn't, considering on the huge scandal that they've had over the past couple of years on their lack of cybersecurity prowess. But I just find it interesting. And if you can, again, you do you, boo. You do the hobby your way. And if that's something that you want to do, and that's how you feel you want to do it, I'm off, as long as it's above board and legal. If somebody comes back and makes a law against it, okay, well then let's not do that anymore. Let's find another way to do it. But I don't mind. It's like the whole, if I was at the Walmart, got there first, and there was a 50 bazillion Mosaic basketballs, I'm not going to, with the stupid money that's out there today, you kind of have to weigh how much can you afford, and then, I'll shut up now.
No, I mean, you're totally right, because it's no different than somebody going into the retail and buying everything that's there. I know the purists hate it, and then we have all these new folks in the hobby, but at the end of the day, they're either stuck with a product or somebody's got to buy it, resell
Mm-hmm.
it. So if you're not buying or refuse to buy stuff, this will stop.
Here's the difference. At the beginning of the year, there were people who saw what was coming with the COVID-19 pandemic and went and bought masks or went and bought hand sanitizers.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a couple that decided they wanted to gouge on places like eBay.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of them got caught. Not all of them, but a few of them got caught and got made examples of publicly, which basically stopped a lot of that from going on until everybody got to catch up. One of the differences, this is not life and death, folks. These are sports cards.
Yeah.
And we always have to remember, we're blessed. We're talking about sports cards. We're not talking about political issues. We're not talking about COVID-19. We're here talking about friggin' sports cards. Let's remember what our priorities are. And you do, I like you're saying, what is it? You do you, I do boo, or something like that?
Yeah, you be you, boo. You do you, boo.
Okay. That's the thing. Everybody can participate at their own level.
And if you want pre-order. Pre-order. I mean, if you really, really want it, like we were talking about Heritage, I'm not gonna wait until it comes out. I'm trying to convince the wife to dip a little bit into savings and buy a case, and to pre-order a case, because I know that I don't want to take the risk of having to go into the secondary market and buy boxes at a 20 to 30% markup, because it's something that I absolutely love.
Well, you can buy the cases usually from the Blowouts and the Dave and Adams, really below where you're ever going to have another chance to get it. So it's worth doing. But
I'm right there looking right now. So 2021 Heritage Baseball 12 box hobby case is $1,109.
Oh, my arm. It hurts. Ow.
So $93 a box. So I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't know what it was.
That's where retail is this year. So, I mean, they're basically projecting just selling it at retail. See if there's a dip at some point.
But I guess, Brad, to your point, if this is something you really, really want, then, you can lock in.
Yeah, I'm just going to have to start saving my pennies and start selling my Pete Alonso cards now.
And Rich, you can say is like, no matter how long I've been in this hobby, nothing stays the same. Things are always moving. Things are always changing. Just when you think you have it figured out, it changes, right? So, like we were talking about with the retail going up and everybody going and grabbing and being the first one there. And then all of a sudden, now they might limit you to 2 per person or whatever. I mean, buying stuff and trying to flip it, and then everything just kind of changes, or people get wise to whatever, and there's no constant, right?
Call in, Bo. I want to hear the opposing on this.
But no, well, Bo's actually on everybody's side. Bo is just saying that what Bo is saying is that he's okay with capitalism, but he says if somebody's using a tool that's not available to everyone to take advantage, I think that's what he's saying he's opposed to. I don't think he's saying he's necessarily opposed.
But it is. I mean, it is a tool that's available. I mean, anybody could sign up. Anybody. That's what this gentleman, if I remember right, he's offering is you to jump on board and be able to participate.
Yeah, there's a lot of groups. It's going to take a little bit of education and learning something new and learning about cooks and stuff. I went out there and, like I said, I was looking early January, February, and try to understand what was going on and how it was, what it was behind the scenes. Because I'm in IT, trying to understand the logic and technology behind it. So, it's really open to anybody. It's just, they're not very expensive, and it takes like a monthly subscription to get your scripts or cook, recipes or whatever. And there's groups out there just have to put in the time like anything else.
Yeah. So then it goes back to the hobby pure, and I don't talk about the hobby purists. I don't talk about old, new. I don't very often, but I feel that the hobby purists, I can understand your point of view. I really can. I can understand where you're bucking the system and going after, and you're making it more difficult for the old traditional ways. Because in outside of the hobby, I'm a very, very conservative guy. I'm a very, very traditional guy, and I have a hard time with change. But what's odd is that in the hobby, I embrace it wholeheartedly.
You're in technology, right?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Brad, you're in technology, right?
Yes, both Val and I are.
Okay. If you're in technology, you almost need to embrace change. The way technology moves so quickly, if you don't embrace change, you'll be left behind and still programming BASIC.
Yes. Yes.
or Cobalt.
And I guess that's what I was trying to say is like, no matter what, everything is changing. It's not, still not 5 cards for 5 cents with a stick of gum.
No, but in some ways, it's still this. In some ways, interestingly enough, it's still the exact same hobby it was when I joined all those centuries ago. You want to get a card, you want to buy a card, you want to enjoy the card. I mean, and seriously, or you want to sell the card. It's the same principle. It's just done a lot differently. You don't
have cards in the 17th century.
No, it took until the 19th century.
Yeah, I guess, Rich, underlying at its core, it is kind of the same, but
it's kind of the same.
Distribution, everything else has changed.
I always used to talk back in my Beckett days, especially, because I did a lot, 15, 16 years into working at Beckett, I would say my job's still the same. How I do it is totally different, but the basic job is still the same. Get information, disseminate information. That was still the exact same thing. We were just using different tools, more advanced technology, different ways of getting that information, less going to shows, more looking at sites like eBay. But it was the same principle of a job. And if you understood it that way, then the job was still the same. And the job was actually not that hard you just dealt with changes as they came one by one. But in terms, and that's the same thing, and that's what I'm saying about baseball cards, it's the same thing. It's just we're doing it differently. I mean, when I started, there were no such things as signed cards unless the kid scribbled the name on the card. Now looking at these athlete signatures, they're still scribbling on cards. I mean, what's the difference? Relic pieces? I'm sure we had relic pieces of your bicycle spokes. Now we have relic pieces of jerseys. It's the same thing, just looks a little different. Parallels. We would draw colored borders on cards, or we would trim the cards. Okay, we do the same thing. Look at some of these sets with minis. It's the same thing. It's and I kid because I care, but in reality, it is the same hobby, and that's what I'm driving at.
Yeah, and I understand Black Box Hobbies. I mean, his final comment of, but that doesn't make it right. You go back to what's right and what's wrong, and you do the hobby your way. I see the dichotomy, and I see the two differences in trying to get an advantage and trying not to get an advantage. But I hate to be rude, but welcome to 2020. I mean, well, unfortunately, the hobby's gotten to that point where if you want to do this, then you've got to do this. And I do I agree with it? Do I wish it would go back to where the Walmart shelves were filled and I could go buy my 2020 Pete Alonso Blaster Topps flagship box? Yeah, sure, I'd love to, because I love that experience. But now the game's changed. It's changed. And Newman and I were talking about this last week, or not last week, actually a couple nights ago, where we had the market seems to be correcting itself. Sales have started to slow down. Prices have started to slow down. And with this irregularity that we've got coming up, where we should have a couple of months of nothing, everything, I feel, and I could be wrong. I'm new to this, okay? I don't know everything. But from a sales guy's perspective, and in 14 years worth of dealing in the sales aspect, I feel that there's going to be a lull and a correction. And what we were having, what the crux of the conversation was that everything should slow down to the point where the guys that bought everything on credit cards, these huge collections of mosaic, and just you see picture after picture after picture, 45 days, 75 days, 95 days, 180. How long can you float that on your credit card before the wife starts pounding on you you're going to have to pay it down? So eventually those prices are going to go down. Eventually the market should correct itself. And once that does, that product should become more available. People will stop rushing.
Well,
Go ahead.
Let me ask you a serious question.
Yeah.
I saw you a couple weeks ago. Actually, it's 4 weeks ago now. You came out to Kyle's show and bought some cards for me. I'm very appreciative. I know Herman was more appreciative because we're all for Herman. But I'll have more for you in 2 weeks.
I cannot wait.
Okay. So, but you made one of the most trenchant comments I heard the whole day there. This is Hobby Hotline come to life.
Oh, it was awesome.
But it was all, I looked around. Everybody had boxes. Everybody looked like they had retail boxes on their table. Mm-hmm. How many of those people were actually selling the retail boxes?
I don't think much got sold. That's my point. Yeah, I didn't see people buying the retail boxes. I didn't see many people buying boxes at all. I saw everybody buying. Honestly, they were buying and trading the PSA and the BGS cards. That's the majority of what I saw that was being bought and sold was the graded cards. I see. I see. We got Roman Stink. Good morning, Roman.
Good morning, Roman. But my point, Brad, was that that show shows you the real market, because if those cards were so hot, they'd be flying out the door at the show at whatever price level it was.
Right.
Yeah, well, part of it is buying it, the other part is trying to sell it, right? So,
exactly.
Having too much supply sitting there, because I saw kind of the same thing at one of the shows that I went to. There was some retail there, and nobody was buying it. So I guess everybody had it, and nobody wanted new stuff. But hey, Roman, thanks for joining the show.
Hey, Roman.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Sorry it took me a.
No problem.
Okay, Roman.
You guys hear me?
In layman's terms, explain, the whole thing with the bots, and what's going on.
Right. So basically, my buddies and I, we've a so-called cook group, and new card, I would say it mainly transitioned from sneakers. So cook groups for sneakers have been around for 2 or 3 years, I'd roughly say. Ever since the inventions of bots and monitors, all that stuff, and it just kind of gives people a way to have like a monthly side income, even by flipping these sneakers, or and now it's transitioning to cards. So how even my group or these groups work is the whole point of the group is to provide a way to capitalize on profit for anyone interested in cards. And that could go back to, we have monitors set up. So what a monitor does is every time there's a restock online on a certain box, such as a Panini, Mosaic, Absolute Football, it lets my group know through our Discord server right away. And you have the option to click on link and purchase it right away. And then, eventually resell it, or you could do a break, or even if it's for personal collection that you want it and just get it at retail and not overpriced.
Okay, so let me ask the follow-up question then. I know, for example, like Panini, if you're on their mailing list, will announce the day before they send out some retail product. They'll say coming tomorrow at 10 a.m. and so if you're on an email list, you're having the exact same information. How would this advantage me, you over me, if we have the same information as to when the product's coming out?
Right. So bots don't work on Dutch auction, which is good, but I do believe things will eventually change. As mentioned before, there are no current Panini America bots. But I could assure you there's something in the works right now. Even one of my group members is currently working on a bot for Panini America. So even I'll give you guys an example. In 4 or 3 days, you have the Panini Basketball Donruss Clear dropping, the new basketball cards. It is not a Dutch auction, and if you try to go for it manually, you will see how different it will be. Even a couple. 2 or 3 weeks ago, there was a Mosaic drop for like the small repacks. No one in my group was able to get it manual because these scripts were able to scoop it up there and going for a manual, and it was impossible for anyone to get it unless you have one of these bots.
So how many seconds does it take for you to get the item, check out, and finish the sale? It's just a few seconds, right?
If a computer does it,
Yes.
it takes, I would say, maybe under 1 second, like milliseconds, compared to us like humans doing. We have to click buy, put in our information. Could take minimum 10 seconds.
Right. Yeah. There, you put in your cart, you go to checkout, put in either even if your address is preloaded and your credit card information is preloaded, you still have another click to complete the sale. So, so me and Brad are kind of IT guys, and I was looking at it a little bit, and I saw that basically these are programs that are running up in the cloud that are just out there monitoring, and then you guys, pay a service to have those programs out there running.
Yeah, correct. So basically, I just want to. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Roman, please.
Yeah. So I want to make it clear that we don't offer like a bot ourselves. That is something we're currently working on because these bots are expensive to build and code. It requires a lot of knowledge and work to put in. But we do kind of we kind of suggest which bots to go for. For example, Phantom is a good one. So is Eevee. Those are Walmart and Target bots. So kind of, I know how you're saying you were comparing it to Panini America, but this is kind of comparing it to even restocks, or if there's a drop on Walmart, it would be a lot quicker for the bot to get a restock on Mosaic, let's say basketball, which drops for $20, and then you sell it for 40. It's not necessarily even talking about Panini America. As of right now, the Dutch auctions are still anyone can go for it, but I do believe in the future things will change.
So, Roman, how often is the script calling out?
It's so whenever there's a drop, it shoots as many as it can, like for every even millisecond.
Okay, so
it depends on how good your bot is.
You're doing open source call outs, right? You're not developing the scripts yourself. These scripts are actually pre-written for designing to go after these websites, correct?
Yeah, so these scripts, their whole point is to add to checkout, complete checkout, and get the product to your hands as quick as possible. Something a lot quicker than we can do it manually.
Okay.
So and that gets you the product, and then you're on your own to sell it, however, or open it or whatever.
Yeah, correct. The whole point of it is to kind of guarantee you have a higher chance of securing the product. And the cool thing about it is you don't only have the options to get one, you could get, as many as even like 100 boxes if you have the capital for it.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a former cybersecurity guy, so the back of my head is just roaming. I know exactly what you're doing, and I refuse to go technical for everybody out there, but I will say that this basic design is how cybersecurity and cyber attacks work. I'm not saying it is not a negative, but they've taken the principles and they've turned it into being able to do call outs and just jackhammer sites. They're not looking necessarily for holes in security. So the end of the script is not negative. All the script is doing is, again, looking for the hole for a particular pathway to go through. And once that pathway is open, then it just goes and completes its back end script. So that's
everything is legal. The sales legal. The credit card, everything's being billed. It's just being able to check out faster than a human could. Like we talked about, buying tickets or whatever else, or trying to redial on the, for a phone call or whatever. So it's just automating it and faster than you could.
So Roman, what
Yeah,
are the other?
That's correct. That's the basic principle.
Yeah. So Roman, what are the other applications? I know this is a sports car, but what are the other applications that this technology could be used for?
Okay. So I mean, technically, these bots and monitors do work for everything, not even sports. I some even like able to do orders and are flipping them. Sneakers. Even during the pandemic, I know Nintendo Switches were able to be bought and resold with using these bots. So even like small weird stuff like this that people want.
Yeah, I was following. I guess it was like Scott Bot or whatever it was, but they were doing Funkos as well.
Okay, question for somebody who's not
Yeah, exactly.
IT. Question for somebody who's not IT like everybody else. You hear sometimes in the political world about the Russian bots and disseminating false information, or the Iranian bots or the Saudi American bots. How is this different? How are these type of bots different from one of those bots?
Well, what do you mean exactly? A little bit.
What I mean is that you hear about the bots.
So I think
I'm just curious what the difference is. Brad,
So I
if you want to answer it, Brad, go ahead.
Yeah. So the main difference, what if you let's go back to some basic. What this is doing is it's basically and I want to say JavaScript. It is a command action that at the very end could be positive or negative. Okay. All they're doing is they're taking like a heartbeat and they're just pinging like this. Okay. But when the point here, or when the apex of the ping is, what happens at the apex of that ping? That's the key, is what does the tail end of the action do? Does the action go shopping for you? Does the action release a Facebook message? Does it infiltrate and do negative cybersecurity actions? Does it could do a million of everything. So, oh my gosh, that completely derailed me. Thank you. But the key is not the bot itself. The bot is just a call out. It's the end and the action that can be positive or negative. There's been bots around since, oh my gosh, the 70s. The bot itself is not negative. It is the action towards the end that creates the positive or negative. So they've just figured out at the apex to complete a sale. So that's all it is, and it's quite fascinating from a technology standpoint, because I was reading about the latest cyber attack this weekend, or actually it was yesterday, and the stuff that you can do now, you can do manual, you can do non-manual, you can do manual with this, you can do the intricacies of what they can do now at the apex is incredible. And I think what Roman's trying to do is just finish the last part of the sale, and it's to the point where if I remember right, I don't think Roman's group would want to do this, but they could grab that product and hold it for any amount of time, and then wait till the price hits on a secondary market, and then release that product out and make money on it. That I don't agree with, but you can do that. You can technology wise do it. I'll shut up, Roman. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. I never even like thought about the idea of holding, or like that wasn't even familiar with that.
Whoops.
But
So
mainly
Brad,
what it is you get it,
You're now
and then
in for a percentage of his profits.
yeah. Mainly what it is you get the box, and the whole point is to flip it or break it. It's up to you, whatever you do with it. Not familiar with even the holding itself. But another thing that my group does is we kind of do call outs on potential investment opportunities. So, I cover basketball mostly, so it's kind of like who we think would be a good young talent to buy, or whose price we saw that went down and we think would be a good buy. It's kind of, we tell them like right now, I'll give you an example, like Kate he is a high risk, high reward kind of guy, depending how he comes back from injury. So young talent like Trae Young's card is very undervalued. It will grow. If you look at like the chart markets and all that stuff.
But this can be used for anything, though. I mean, if you want to hit Target and buy all the Tootsie Rolls, you could.
Yeah.
It's just not cards. It's any item that is available on the website.
In theory, yeah, you could.
Yep.
I don't know if I want to talk and give anybody any more ideas.
All right, do you guys have any questions?
Yeah,
No,
this is all out there.
Tootsie Roll shortage.
You could, but that's just this code is just an apparatus to help you buy a product from websites, and it can do it faster than, because of the run on the products. This will help you beat the next guy buying that product. But again, now you have the product. The problem is reselling it. So you can buy, like I can buy all the Tootsie Rolls up, but if nobody's wanting Tootsie Rolls, then I'm gonna be stuck eating Tootsie Rolls until they expire and go bad. So same thing with the cards. If you do buy the product and you're sitting on this Mosaic and they print a ton of Mosaic, if they do, then you're left with it. But it's no different than you going to the website and buying it. So it's out there, and like for sneakers and stuff like that. So it's just a different group of moving to cards now and trying to make some profit or whatever.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. We've like my group and I, we noticed a transition in the market. So with with all these bots and all that stuff now, a lot of the stuff is sitting on eBay and not moving. Like the Mosaic boxes, because a lot of people are able to get them quick and they think it might be, quick flip, make a quick $20 for a box. But a lot of people are seeing that it's sitting on eBay for months. So it's going to be interesting how that plays out and what's going to happen with that.
Now, Roman, I do have a question. So have you seen a decline of this being used for sneakers? Are people moving away from sneakers, or are they just including cards and not leaving the sneakers, if that makes sense?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's a combination of both. There's doing cards now mostly and sneakers. Because I know there's even like a sneaker drop today that a lot of my buddies are even going for. So I don't see them necessarily transitioning from it. I think they just added cards to their kind of niche of what they do.
Was that the Reebok Ghostbusters sneakers?
No, there's Mocha Jordan ones. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, I checked this morning and the Reeboks Ghostbusters were all gone. So, but I wasn't going to do it with a bot. It's all right.
Does PSA slab the Jordans?
And then I don't know about that one.
That's a joke because that Val's a big PSA.
Yeah.
That's a joke, son.
Yeah.
Hey, you never know. You could have some Jordan Bubba Wallace sneakers here.
That's true.
There you go.
The 2311.
That's the 23. So that's where the 2311 came from. 23 is Jordan and 11 is Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, so it's 223XI is the, I guess, logo name, but it's pronounced 2311. Yeah.
Okay.
So Roman, there's a question in the group. I'll pose it. What is the fee, or is there a fee associated with the group, or how do you tell us a little bit about what it would take to get signed up?
Yeah, what's the startup cost and then the monthly cost?
Right. So my group is currently free. We're in beta. We're just testing it out, see how people like it. If it's getting results, that's the whole point. It's just make sure like our customers are enjoying their experience. So we're currently free. You could if you guys want to join free Discord, just go to vapors.com and then you could click on the button, it takes you right to the Discord. The bot so we have monitors already set up. We also have like an eBay monitor, which if you want to sell your product, it adds views. They're fake views, but it kind of adds. If you go to eBay, it says like 14 viewed in the past hour. It does that as well. The bots are expense that you're going to have because bots are not something. It's kind of like a third party. It's not we who make the bots. We just recommend who to go to. So Phantom I know is $1,200, like a one-time fee, and then I think it's like a monthly plan of like 30 to 40 around there. EV is between 4 to 500. There's also Zaysbot, which mostly does tops. Tops, Zaysbot runs it at. It's only $200. Those are the only three I could really kind of stay for. I wouldn't really suggest Phantom unless you're doing other stuff because it is $1,200. Eevee may be a good one if you're only looking for cards such as Walmart and Target, or Zaysbot if you're for tops and Walmart and Target as well.
Did you say you were working on a Panini or somebody else was working on a Panini?
So not myself. I'm like not a real good coder or anything, but someone in the group is one of my staff. He yeah, I don't know if I should even be like telling the details, but this guy also has like a cybersecurity background, and he told me he wants to do a cloud based, and he hired just some staff to make it user friendly. So in the next coming months, maybe my group might be able to offer an exclusive bot for in-group members. That's something that would be like a goal for me.
Yeah.
Well, I was just thinking, like, if you were going to go with somebody, or you're going to look at it, you would probably want to steer towards somebody who was, possibly had Panini in the. It's probably not something you want to get into and spend $1,200 on, and then go and not be able to, do a company you were trying to do, if that makes sense. So that's what I was asking.
Well, Roman, we appreciate you calling in.
Right.
We appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, guys.
Yeah, thank you for educating everybody on this. So.
No, and I'd like to connect offline. I'll share with you.
Yeah, thanks for having
the other stuff.
Thanks.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, I was multitasking a little during that, and I noticed I got my daily Tops email. I see Tops is not just Tops isn't doing NASCAR because Panini is. Tops is doing Formula One.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I remember Tops ever doing a Formula One set.
Yeah, it was announced 2 months ago.
Yeah. But I just saw it pop up. But it's interesting. And there's some artists doing a World Series commemorative set. I mean, there's some interesting things going on. We were talking about this. There's so many options. And a lot of times you can just buy it direct. We can do what we want.
Yeah.
And
the Formula One Chrome, that looks like a really hot set. When they showed their preview, they had the chrome look to the cars, which, if you're a car guy, looked absolutely just gorgeous. I don't know. I guess they're gonna mirror it, kind of like the Panini or the Panini Mosaic or Panini whatever that's out there now for the Donruss or for the NASCAR stuff that I've seen. Val, do you think that it's probably going to be the same thing? They're same type of look or something?
Yeah, I was looking at the website here. They've got the Topps Dynasty Formula One Racing. That's the big one. That's the one that's I guess it was like 500 or something. It's out of stock up here. But then they have the Chrome Hobby Box for about 125, and they're doing the Topps Now as well, which is very interesting. So there hasn't been a Formula One set in quite some time, so I guess this is a great way for them to dip their toe in that and see. And I was trying to look at some of the Tops Now print runs, but I was really hoping that Panini would bring back the Panini Instant for NASCAR. But any racing is pretty good, and we'll see if the demand is there for the product, or if everything's so red hot that everybody's just gonna snap it up. I guess to Brad's thing, we'll see in 45 days what happens.
Yeah, and I can still find. I'm looking at the boxes behind you, Val. The blaster box that you got. I can still find that every once in a while at my local at my local Walmart. Not very often, but maybe once every 3 weeks, there'll be racing cards out there. I've stopped doing racing. Otherwise, I'd open them up myself. But there's the NASCAR cards are a little bit more readily available than anything else.
But I was looking at that the Formula One Tops Now. Some of the print runs are about 1,300, 1,200. The lowest one was just right under 800 cards. So I don't know how that compares to some of the other baseball print runs, but any racing is I guess is good racing. It of course they don't have Haley Deegan, but
yes,
I wish Tops luck with that, because I think there's definitely crossover. I'm probably going to start looking at some of this Formula One. It might not be my mainstay, but it interests me anyway.
Well,
it's still not expensive.
With F1, Danica started in F1. So,
yes,
I mean, it's an easier pathway for female racers to go into F1 and to actually.
I thought she started in IndyCar. I thought she started in IndyCar, not in F1.
Yeah, she was in Indy.
Yeah, I call Indian. So that's my bad. I call F1 the same. I should have said open wheel. So sorry, guys, but I should have said open wheel. But open wheel is an easier pathway than NASCAR or Busch or through that ranks to be able to for female drivers to get in, or for any drivers for that matter.
Well, I think one of the things is NASCAR almost has a more established feeder system, almost like a minor league system.
Yeah, the Busch racing,
where Indy and F1 don't necessarily have the same feeder system. You either have to be really good, or you don't get a ride in those. In NASCAR, you'll develop, and you go through their feeder systems. I mean, even Jeff Gordon went through the feeder system. Some of his very early World of Outlaw cards are very expensive. But we've been on more than an hour. I've got a couple things if we want to start wrapping it up.
Yeah.
But I was going to say real quick that NASCAR has a Drive for Diversity program that brings in minorities and drivers like that to help bring them up through the ranks. So, but anyway, you are correct. It is over. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. Thanks for everybody calling in. I hope you learned something. Hope you have a safe Halloween. Brad, Rich, do you guys have anything?
Yeah. No, happy Halloween. Everybody be safe tonight.
I do have a couple of closing thoughts. One, if you have not yet voted and you're a legal age and legally able to, please vote. You still got Tuesday. I know the early voting has been outrageous, but it's a very important thing to do, not just on the presidential level, but on your state and local level. There's a famous saying, all politics are local. Yes. Go vote if you've not voted. I don't care whom you vote for. I'll just be so happy because I won't see the ads on TV anymore. I hope for their sake they can replace some of that revenue. But, it'll be good. And it'll also be good not to have my emails bombarded by one of the two presidential candidates that has a last name with 5 letters. But the other thing, but let's leave on good news. My old friend Rich Muller posted on Sports Collectors Daily a story earlier this week. There were some collectors that lost their collections in the California wildfires, and people went and donated 25,000 cards to help them get their at least one person get their collection back. And I think that's a really good thing to remember. From, look at this room. Every card in here is donated. When we have our next show, probably in March, we'll use that money and give back to the community. If you have cards and you're able to give back, we always talk about profit. Giving back, especially as we approach the holiday season, is super important.
Yes. Everybody needs to give back. Everybody needs to get back. I'm not going to go there, but everybody needs to get back. I just say you do you, but I'll also do my other great big that I use in at work, and it's pay it forward. Always pay it forward. That's one of the reasons why I do Hobby Hotline. That's why I started doing my podcasting, is pay it forward in some form or fashion, because trust me, it does in the end help. Okay, now your snappy message, Val.
Val, take us home.
All right, guys, be safe, and we're out of here. May all your retail shelves be full.
Yes, there you go. I'm stealing that one.
I used that one on my past podcast, NASCAR Radio. So, all right, guys.
Perfect.